Today, we're going to talk about OKRs, NCTs, WTFs, lessons from reinventing the company goal setting. And the question is not which framework to choose. The question is how we succeed as a company. Hi, I'm Maria Czech, and this is the Agile State of Mind. Welcome. So, let me tell you something about myself. I have a limited tolerance for bullshit. And if you have been watching this channel, you probably already know. When someone approaches me with a new company goal setting framework, I'm not an early adopter. I'm a laggard, or at best, part of the skeptical late majority. But for what? That's my usual response. Another fad? No, thank you. When it comes to the fads and fairy tales, objectives and key results seemed reasonable. Definitely better than having no objectives at all, right? We've been there. But I wondered, are OKRs just another fad? Are they a long-lived trend adopted by many, although understood by few? I get consulted sometimes about all things agile from people working in very traditional command and control environments. And they want to implement OKRs. The management will feel so good about themselves if we did them. That's what they are thinking. I can sell it so easily because it's so trendy. That's what they're really doing. How does one explain that for anything to work, you need a solid foundation and not just a catchy trend? It all boils down to one question. Are we simply selling fads, or are we actually trying to improve how organizations work by making businesses thrive and employees happier and engaged? That's a very important question that we should put in front of the table. But first, so what are those OKRs, right? Let's get back to objectives and key results. What are they? They have been used in Google and other big tech companies. So my favorite conspiracy theory is that OKRs were invented as a psyop from Google to slow down other companies. Talking seriously though, as explained by John Doerr, the greatest evangelist of OKRs, objectives are significant, concrete, action-oriented, and ideally inspirational. When properly designed and deployed, they're a vaccine against fuzzy thinking and ineffective execution. Key results exist to drive progress towards the objective. The key question to ask is, how will we accomplish it? Key results benchmark and monitor how we get to the objective. Effective key results are specific and time-bound, and aggressive yet realistic. Most of all, they are measurable and verifiable. You either meet a key result requirements or you don't. On paper, it does look fantastic, doesn't it? If I worked at a company already using OKRs, I would do everything to help them make it work. I'll be crafting inspiring goals and coaching the management team to do so, getting everyone pumped with the bonus speech. I'll share it in the description so you can check. After all, inspiration fuels engagement. Maybe it's not the OKRs that I'm not a big fan of. I'm all for inspiring objectives and measurable outcomes, but it's more how the companies adopt them. Typically, a company brings in an OKR guru to roll them out. Someone external with zero understanding of the company culture, business, or reality, and off they go. What follows is a never ending marathon of the creation and iteration, starting with the OKRs for the executive team. Then, higher and middle management craft their OKRs based on the exec ones. Afterwards, each and every team has to do the same. Yes, it's a full-blown OKR waterfall. The spreadsheet containing this OKR cascade starts scrolling like an old steam train, barely moving unless you keep shoveling coal into it. Eventually, you reach out a point that you need to upgrade everyone's laptops. just so they can open the damn spreadsheet. Yes, been there, done that. But anyway, it's not just the endless OKR setup, it's the hassle of everyone having their own. It's like reading a book. So you don't know anymore on one pager what's the OKRs and where are we heading towards. In the worst case scenario, I even seen the OKRs cascading until an individual person for their performance review. The anti patterns. Having said that, the framework is only effective if its implementation is kept simple and no monster spreadsheets. A better approach would be to create company wide objectives, like an annual meeting where we understand where's the direction, where we want to go. From there, you could create quarterly OKRs for given product areas that you have in the company. And from there, from those key results, you create epics for the teams. They linked their epics to those OKRs, and the OKRs are one for everyone that works in a given value stream, product area, etc. This really, I really don't like the team level OKRs and team level objectives because they really can go against the collaboration and create siloed work. This is my OKR. I need to make it work, so I don't care about your dependency. That can create more problems than solutions. So this is how I would see it. You can take it or leave it. And then the struggle is also crafting meaningful objectives and the key results. Take a simple example. Let's say we need to deprecate a tool. The first instinct, write a goal like deprecate the steam train. Inspired already? And the key results will be something like, and this is real wording from a company, okay? I just changed it for the steam train example. Key result number 1, complete the necessary railway traction enhancement. Key result number 2, train the conductors to run an electric train. Key R number 3, complete the electrification of the track. Complete, deprecate. Are you excited to work on a goal like that? Didn't think so. So you might be wondering, what does complete even mean? Do we need 100% of the tracks electrified? By when? Do we have a century to get there? The answers probably exist somewhere, maybe buried in an epic, hidden in a PRD if you're lucky to have one. Or they can be also locked inside the product manager's head. However, if you are new and look at the OKRs that already exist, you will have no clue what they mean, or not to mention why we're even doing this. And by keeping key results vague instead of giving teams real direction, we're just increasing confusion. Let me talk briefly about the power of context and why OKRs need a story. So imagine in the late 1800s, steam trains are going across the United States, fueling industrial expansion, connecting cities, and moving goods at an unprecedented scale. Then someone proposes a bold idea: electrification. Overhead wires, new infrastructure, and the radical shift in how trains operate. Naturally, some people are asking questions like, why should we spend huge amounts of money on electrification if steam trains are just running? What's the actual value? Won't overhead wires cause more problems than they solve? It's something new. We don't know it. Innovation. Have we even considered alternatives like diesel powertrain? So those are all the questions that typical people have in their head when you present such a breakthrough idea. And these are valid concerns. In the absence of compelling narrative, one that clearly articulates the long-term benefits of efficiency, lower operating costs, and the environmental sustainability, the idea doesn't get traction. Instead of embracing electrification, the US largely stuck with steam and later transitioned to diesel. Meanwhile, countries like China and European countries invest heavily in rail electrification, resulting in China having over 64,000 kilometers of high-speed railroads today, compared to US's mere 6,000, as reported by World Population Review. So the lack of context and strong, widely understood inspirational objective led to what many see now as a lost opportunity. Now, let's bring this back to the OKRs. Even if the reasoning is explained during an OKR presentation, that context is often forgotten, misunderstood, or simply overlooked. And let's be honest, how many people are going to dig through the old all hands so they can refresh their memory of why we're even doing this? What's important here is that a well defined objective needs more than just a goal and key result. It needs a story, a compelling why that makes people care, understand, and align on their efforts accordingly. Without it, even the most well intentioned objectives can become missed opportunities, like the railroad electrification in the US. And let's talk about the meaningful OKRs now. So, we are creating those quarterly OKRs and how to avoid the vague wording. Okay, so for OKRs to truly work, we need to set quality goals, one that go beyond just completing a task. Please. Sticking with our steam train example, let's see how many goals would be. So, the objective could be expand the coverage of faster, more efficient, and sustainable electric trains by replacing the remaining steam trains. You provide a little bit of context. And then the key results might look like this. But for the key results to work, just a side note, you need to know your metrics. So it's usually when you start with OKRs, you realize how few metrics you have and how many you first need to have so you can create some meaningful key results. So, key result number one, increase railway traction enhancement on tier one, the busiest tracks, from 40% to 80% by the end of Q2. What this gives us, we know from where is the starting point, where is the point that we want to arrive, and by when we want to have it done. And this should show us the progress to achieving the objective. However, when working with a new and complex product, one that people don't really understand, there are those very complex products, not like an app that we don't use every day. And even your own people might not understand that well because they are not the target group. Then it can really go off the rails. And in these cases, OKRs alone won't cut it. People need context. They need to understand the why, the bigger picture, and the customer problems that we're trying to solve. Let's try to see now when enough context is enough. So I always advocate for sharing context with people, like over communicate until it's understood. Providing just a goal without explanation can lead to misunderstanding and also hinder the engagement. If I believe in something, I'm more likely to go for it with the intrinsic motivation. And on top of that, if you have really bad objectives, you can read on the internet numerous stories where somebody trying to achieve their personal objective actually jeopardized the company. So we don't want that shallow activity of moving the metrics for the sake of attaining some goal. I don't have all the answers regarding how much context you need because that's so dependent on this understanding of the product in your company. In my search for answers, I came across a very simple framework that helps employees understand the why behind the goals, and it's called NCTs: narrative, commitment, tasks. So you can probably use it very well with OKRs. And yeah, I know it's another 3-letter acronym, but since I found it, I'm not such a laggard to use it. And it actually responds to one of my problems. Where is the context? And I really relate to the problems that Reforge article highlights who described this. This one I just saw last week. So teams set lofty goals, often to impress leadership, without also establishing actionable commitments that will enable the team to actually achieve the goal. When inevitable failure comes, teams lose credibility and maybe even start doubting their own skills. So, yeah, sometimes the goals are just to impress others and leadership on this all hand meeting, not really thinking how we will get there. And it is a huge anti pattern used every day. And the side effects of leadership's failure to provide strategy, it can also be the other way around. So the teams can set themselves a lofty goal, but they can also be set from top down a lofty goal, like improve retention by 5%. And it's a very good example. So let's dive into what they say without any clear path to get how to get there. So improve retention. I'm not your user, your target group, your target audience. How do I know how to improve this retention? Leaders who assume teams will figure it out are delegating strategy, not enabling execution. This is a problem because we think, okay, we will give you it's yours. You can do all the discovery you want. But where do I even start? And do I have time and the resources to do that discovery? So there's nothing wrong with trying to improve retention by 5%. But teams also need to align around pragmatic plan on how to get there, rather than throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. So, for example, before goal setting around improving retentions, teams should know what retention is composed of, which levers are likely to move it, and which solutions effectively pull those levers. And then we can choose, and then we can experiment all we want. I won't dive into the details. Follow me on my Substack. There is a link in description. You can find on the links in my Substack blog post. Plus, I will share a presentation that distilled to just 10 slides explaining what OKRs are, showing you my prompts for AI, how to create really good OKRs for you, and also showing you how Gamma looks, which is an AI for creating presentations that you might want to use in your life. I won't get into the details now. Subscribe to my Substack and get all the goodies there. But I will share an example of TripAdvisor's goal setting approach that uses this NCT structure. So and I really like that because look, we have narrative. Today, travelers who navigate TripAdvisor using Google are often leaving and re-entering TripAdvisor. So they explain really well what is the struggle. People don't stay in one place, they have to go in and out. And we can build a more retentive user experience by enabling them to organize, share, and access all of their trip content, no matter what device they are on. As a first step, we'll increase awareness and usage of Saves feature and the new trip plan feature. So they even show what would be the next step, that people are aware there is such a feature. And commitments increase the number of unique savers from X to Y by the end of Q1. So commitments are really the key results. And then we have tasks. So what do we need to do? We need to launch a new backend save service. Basically, you could just add this narrative to the OKRs and that would work as well. So I really think this could really get you to the next level when it comes to setting objectives in your company. What about the roadmaps, right? Because I was thinking, why do we even have this goal setting? And I always push for having goals in the companies because they really help you understand the priorities so you don't and increase the focus of the teams. The teams have a lot to do. If we clearly define where we want to go, it's so much easier for them to prioritize what they do on a day-to-day basis. So maybe we're really trying to do here is avoid also overcommitment and the false certainty of a Gantt chart. Because if we just show feature, 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 and a Gantt chart with when it should be done, we create this certainty illusion that we can never have. So instead of fixating on features and rigid deadlines, we focus on objectives and delivering value within a realistic time frame. We just say in which quarter we'll do it, not the precise date that we can never know. So ultimately, the goal is to redefine the roadmaps, right? So shifting towards understanding the problems, the why behind them, and collectively finding the best solutions. And something that along the lines you can see here, Claudia Delgado described a modern roadmap. And as you see here, we don't have dates, we don't have features, we have a goal. The world will be this, and we'll be the primary provider of that. That's our goal as a company. We have now, next, and later. And we are having those different objectives, as you see, the color codes. So we understand which problem and solution goes to which of the objectives or key results and so on. So this really speaks to me as a alternative for the old-fashioned feature factory driven roadmaps. That would be all for today. That's a lot of talking, but I think it's a very important topic and we cannot escape it because we always need to know what we are doing, and the struggle is to align people around the objective. I would love to hear your thoughts. So comment and go to my Substack. Let's get into a conversation. How do you approach goal setting and roadmaps in your company? This is a very interesting topic for me because that's basically my everyday work. What practices have worked for you? And have you ever tried OKRs? Was it a success or was it not such a great success? Please share and subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot. And give a like if you like this video. And also remember, on my Substack, I'm sharing a lot of this OKR cheat sheet. You can download it, and there will be also the prompts because today we have to use AI. So right now I'm trying to use AI in everything that I do, and I'm sharing my prompts on how to get to the best answers from the AI you use. So that's a bonus. Go there. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.